Hello. So I'm just going to show you guys how to access the badge, and this is what we're going to be doing for this one. Yes, JavaScripts, week 7 through 8, earn the Alexa skill badge and create a skill. So this is what this is going to do is reinforce JavaScript concepts using JSON, using SDK, and using Lambda. Now, obviously, we're not here yet, and I don't have videos for this yet. So if you're going to ask me a question now, I may not have an answer yet. But some of you guys have asked me, what this is going to be doing if you're wanting to try to work ahead. So I just want to make this video and try to answer those questions to the extent that I have right now. So just keep that in mind. So it's an AWS Educate. As I explained before, my interface is different than yours, so may I get to it. It's going to be a little different probably, but for me, it's professional development, student badges. Yours may be different, but I don't think it's that difficult to find. But basically, what you're looking for is badges. And what I want you to do is earn your Alexa badge. So you would click on Earn Your Badge.
That good, huh? What do you mean you're not allowed to sell?
And there's going to be a pathway, as you can see, on how to learn about Alexa. So it's going to go over some concepts of AWS, like S3 and Lambda. So this is stuff that you can add to your resume as a skill set that you're learning about AWS and some of the services within AWS, like S3 and Lambda. You'll learn, obviously, about Alexa. Yes, there's assessments that are part of this. And the audience, the duration would be about 10 to 15 hours, but you could be more or less dependent on how much work and how your experience and things of that nature. Just like anything else, the duration can vary, but 10 to 15 hours is probably pretty accurate. Quizzes. Okay, so there's quizzes. I do have to get a minimum on the quiz. I want to think 3 or 4 on each one. And the quizzes do change. The questions do change. It's not like you can do like a memory game of ABC, or whatever it is, because questions do change. But looks like I think you need to have 4.
Good.
Okay. So you're allowed unlimited attempts. Let's go ahead and go back in here because this is how you're supposed to progress. So you click here to continue.
Oh, yeah. Really? Tell me all about it. Do you like them?
And then it's going to do the introduction of what Alexa is. There's modules.
No, would you like to? Well, this young man right here.
The learning objectives.
And he
Next.
donated all kinds of sausage. This is
The prereq knowledge, and they're going to go over some basics with you. S3. If you, on one of the previous assignments, I don't remember which class it is now, HTML or JavaScript, I had you upload something in S3. So this is going to, talk a little bit more about S3, what it is, and then there's a lab. On the lab, I will go ahead and go over that because I know this will mess some people up. So you would click on that and you'd sign in. And you get this little red error, so it's not available. AWS knows that this is an issue. It's just not something that they fix because there is a workaround. So when you click on that, it brings you to Quick Labs after you sign in or sign up. But it says it's not available. It is available. You just have to search it. So what was it again? It was Introduction to S3. Just going to type in Introduction to S3. And there it is. So the link does not take you to it. You actually have to do a search for it and go through it. Okay, so that's how you would access the labs. And I think there's a couple labs in here, but just be aware that link will not take you directly to it. So let's go ahead and go next.
With the guitar.
So you play, what do you play clarinet?
Lambda talks about Lambda. I'm assuming this will take you to a video, but this will probably be a similar to Quick Labs. Yeah, it's going to Quick Labs again. So you would just need to do a search for it, Introduction to AWS Lambda and Lambda. And like I said, this is stuff you can add to your resume. You know, being familiar with AWS services like Lambda and S3 and Alexa. So Introduction to Lambda, AWS Lambda. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that out because I got too many stuff. Shoot, not that one. Okay. Click next. Then there's a prereq, skill set, whatever, check. Bypassing that. Use cases. So, you know, explore these, kind of hopefully might give you some ideas on what you want to do. There's a blog to subscribe. Module 3 talks about Alexa skills kits. And I want you to go through that, study it, learn about NLU, learn about SDKs. Okay. So again, let's see. Resources. So there's some training courses. There's a lot of different resources here. I'm trying to think if this is what I want to go to or not. This goes to Alexa console. So it's easy, and I'm guilty of it too. Whenever these links, you know, kind of go into these links, and then I go down a rabbit hole and forget where I was at to begin with. Just be aware that's easy to get to happen, and just try to narrow your focus in on one thing at a time. And there's a lot of good information. You just need to have focus on it, and not to get, you know, squirrel syndrome too much. So again, talks a little bit more about design for voice. It's not the same thing as design for visual, like with websites. Talks about some different components. I'm trying to get to. Okay, there's some more stuff. There's another quiz. And you can actually a certification. I don't think this will actually prepare you for certification. This will get you a digital badge, but you can actually get an AWS certification in Alexa. I don't have it yet. It's kind of a future goal, but there's actually a certification in this. Shoot. Anyways, the Code Academy. I really like the Code Academy classes here, and you have access to it by clicking on these. You have access to building up the Code Academy. And I want you to build a skill. A skill is the word that they use for, you know how like mobile apps?
There's a young lady that she actually takes food. Are you taking something to carry today? Are you going to take something to carry today?
Okay. And so what I want you to do is, build a couple skills, explore them, get curious about it, and that takes you into a GitHub. But I want you to build one skill. I do want you to go through all these lessons, and it's going to introduce you to DynamoDB, which is another AWS service that you can add to your resume. Let's see. And actually, I think in this Code Academy stuff, it talks you through a couple different there's some projects in here as well that can maybe, you know, spur some ideas. So just, it doesn't have to be a complicated skill. It can be a very simple skill. But the skill is to Alexa, like app is to mobile phones. It's just it's their version, it's their word that we use for Alexa voice user interface. And then there's some other resources. You can make money with it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. And the final project, and then you submit your final project. And let's see. And eventually, boom, boom, boom. Trying to see somewhere I can see like my badges. Eventually you'll get a badge. I forgot where you see it on here, but eventually you do get a badge, and that's what I want you to put like on your LinkedIn. Who's in a profile? I don't remember where it was, but eventually you can see where you're collecting badges. And that's kind of the brief scenario of what you're going to be doing. Again, this is like a week 7 or 8 thing, and I've not created more in-depth tutorials on it. But I know some of you guys were having questions, so I just wanted to try to address that as much as I could for right now. Let me know if you have any questions within reason, or the fact that we're considering the fact we're on week 5.